Hey guys, welcome to my channel EH Studios. I just saw the film Captain Marvel and I'm really excited to share my thoughts with you in this really nice movie review. Before we get started, there will be spoilers, so keep that in mind in case you don't want to get spoiled and you want to go watch the film first and then come back and watch this movie review after. So, let's get started. First, I'm going to give a little intro. So a lot of people say that they didn't like Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. They thought she was not a good cast. She was miscast for this part. And I don't know much about Captain Marvel from the comics. She could have been a different character in the movie. I don't really know. I haven't honestly read the Captain Marvel comics, but I thought she was good in this movie. I mean, I don't know. She worked for this version. I thought she did a pretty okay job. So, you know. But yeah. Also, this film was dedicated to Stan Lee. They showed all these different cameos that he did, or little like pictures of him. Instead of the Marvel logo showing the different characters, they showed the different Stan Lee characters he's played. And then they said with the text, "Thank you, Stan Lee," or "Thank you, Stan." And then they also showed his last cameo, which was sort of a subtle cameo, but it was quite meaningful to see it. So, you know. Now we're going to go on to the things I liked. The post-credit scene. I really liked the post-credit scene. It was taking place in the time of Avengers Endgame, which was quite cool to see, and I was like, Avengers Endgame, this is it. And then it was really cool to see, you know. And so, as Avengers Endgame, basically they're just talking about how everything's going bad, because what else are they going to talk about, right? And then they turn around and they see her, and she goes, "Where's Fury?" And then then it just ends, and I'm like, oh, it was really cool. And the cool thing about it was we get to see how the button was made that he got to press, so we know why she wasn't with her all this time. It's because she was dealing with other stuff, but if he ever needed her help, he could press the button and it would call her. Also, 1990s references, I really liked these. When she fell through the building, and the screen was panning down, when we saw the sign that says Blockbuster Video, everyone in my audience started laughing. It was really funny. Also, when the computer was loading, and she's like, "What's going on?" "It's loading." That was really funny. Also, I liked the worlds and the technology of this thing. I really enjoyed the technology, like the suit, and also how the suits could change the color with the little thing when she moves it around and the colors keep changing. That was really cool. I also liked the ships were really cool. The weapons, there was this little like sword things that were like lighting up that reminded me of lightsabers, sort of. I don't know. Am I the only one who noticed that? Maybe, I don't know. There's also like the cool laser guns, you know, a lot of other stuff. I loved the Kree planet. Thought the city was really cool, and I liked the shape-shifting creatures. Those were pretty cool. I also really liked the storyline. The storyline definitely was a very interesting storyline. I loved how her backstory wasn't just like something happens and now she's a superhero. I like how we had to sort of slowly figure out her backstory, and she had to figure it out for herself, and how she realized she had a past life here, and it's actually because she shot this core that hit her and turned her into an amazing being, and the guy who was going to kill her ended up taking her, and then she realizes that she's actually technically like got kidnapped. So that was really interesting. Now we're going to talk about the characters. So the first character we're going to talk about is the cat. The cat was very funny. Now, if you don't know what the cat is this cat named Goose, who's actually like a weird creature that can shoot out tentacles out of its mouth. It's really weird. And also, I liked how it was swallowed the cube, the Tesseract, and then in the other post-credit scene, the last one, it like throws it up, which was the Tesseract was the blue cube that was the Infinity Stone from the first Avenger. I also loved Samuel L. Jackson's character, or as you may know him, Nick Fury. He was pretty cool. They de-aged him in this movie, and he still had hair, which he hadn't had in a lot of movies. He has had hair in some movies, but he didn't have it in any of the Marvel movies, so he ought to have hair. minus at the good old days. And I really liked his character in this film. I liked him. It was cool how he had to sort of invent the Avengers, and we got to see how he was going to call it the Pro Initiative, and he changed it to the Avenger Initiative, and then that was really cool. But we saw him look at the words Avenger and went to type it. We don't actually see him type it, which makes it all the more interesting. Then the movie ends. It was really cool. Also, I liked Ben Mendelsohn's character. He was good as the character who was first working for S.H.I.E.L.D. and then was also this alien who was just trying to get back to his family. He did a pretty good job. I thought he was really good. Also, we got to see cool characters like Ronan, the Accuser, and other characters from Guardians of the Galaxy, which was quite cool, and it was actually really interesting, and I really liked that. Now let's talk about the things that I did not like. Something that really bugs me in the ending is that she goes up into space, and she doesn't, inject her mask. She doesn't turn on her mask. So basically, there's this thing where when she goes into space, this mask forms around her face that she doesn't have to protect her from space, right? But in the end, she doesn't do that. She just goes into space and then flies away in space. But you're like, no, you have to turn your mask on. It's space. Which makes absolutely no sense, and that drove me crazy. And it's really annoying. Also, something that really interested me was the pacing was sort of weird in the first bit of the film. She had this dream, and then she woke up, and then all of a sudden she talks to this new guy we've never seen before, and then she has to try and fight him, and then it was kind of weird. They were just sort of trying to explain something, and it was sort of like, oh. It took me a little while to get into it, but once they went on their adventure, which was pretty soon in, then I started getting into the movie. I was like, okay, now I'm in. Now I'm ready. You know? Also, there's this part where they are showing the disc, and it's showing the recording. So basically, it's showing how long the recording is, but about halfway through, she dozes off into this dream. And then the second half, which is in her dream, was technically a lot longer than the first half was. The first half breezes off of the recording, and it shows us, okay, the recording is this long. First, the recording goes, okay, we're going to go here, and now the recording is halfway, and the computer's telling us that, right? And then the second half takes a lot longer to finish, which doesn't make any sense, because if it's halfway, it's halfway. But then the second half is longer, which means it wouldn't be halfway. So unless they weren't showing us the full bar of how long it was, and they were just minimizing it because they couldn't show it on the giant computer. Otherwise, that was a little confusing to me, but that was just a really minor thing. Also, the editing and the camera work was interesting. I didn't hate this. The editing and the camera work was pretty good, but I found that sometimes the camera was shaking around, and I'm sort of like, oh, what are you doing? And it was sort of just shaking around, and I was some strange editing choices in the battle scenes, in the fist combats, which I found interesting. But one thing I really liked was the sci-fi part about it. I forgot I was watching a Marvel movie most of the time. I thought I was just watching a sci-fi movie, and then I remember, oh, I'm watching a Marvel movie. It was very different, and I know that this is oh, come on, it's a Marvel movie. Of course it's going to be different. Yeah, Marvel movies have gone from very wide ranges, but I felt like this didn't feel much like a Marvel movie either, but it was still really good. Another thing that really bugs me is the music. Now, the music was good most of the time, the cool sci-fi music, but there were some times when they were playing songs with voices and singing that weren't that good, and I'm sort of just like, you're really gonna make us listen to this right now. Okay, that's sad. But, I thought the action was really good. The action was definitely very, very good. So I liked this movie. And overall, I really liked this film, and I'm going to rate this film an A. Alright guys, thanks for watching. How did you feel about Captain Marvel, and how did you like it? You can tell me down in the comments section below. I would really love to hear your opinions. I'm always open to listening to comments. I really love to listen to them. Also, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell icon and to turn on notifications because there's a lot of great films coming out this year that I really cannot wait for. So if you want to see movie reviews and other things like that, building up to Star Wars Episode 9 this year, which I cannot wait for, then subscribe and turn on notifications so you can see it as soon as it comes out. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.